There was something strange about the old mirror in the art room of Westwood High. It hung on the far wall, dusty and forgotten, covered in cobwebs. The students barely noticed it, focused on their paints and brushes, but rumors swirled around that mirror. It was said to be cursed, though no one could explain how or why. Mira, a talented young artist, had heard the rumors but didn't believe them. She was a skeptic, always dismissing the spooky stories her friends shared about ghosts and haunted objects. One day, after staying late to finish a painting, she found herself alone in the art room as the sun set, casting long shadows across the floor. As she packed up her brushes, her eyes drifted to the mirror. Something about it drew her in that evening, a pull she couldn't quite explain. The reflection seemed darker than it should have been, like the mirror was holding on to the shadows. Mira hesitated, but curiosity got the better of her, and she walked toward it. Up close, she could see her reflection clearly, but there was a strange distortion. Her reflection seemed off. It was subtle at first, her eyes looked a little too wide, her mouth slightly twisted. She leaned in closer, her nose almost touching the glass. The air around her grew colder. Suddenly, the lights in the room flickered, and for a brief second, her reflection didn't move with her. Mira blinked, her heart skipping a beat. She waved her hand in front of the mirror, but this time, the reflection waved a second too late. A chill ran down her spine. Before she could react, the reflection smiled, a twisted, airy smile that wasn't her own. Mira gasped and stumbled back, but her reflection stayed still, staring at her with those wide, unnatural eyes. Then, slowly, it raised its hand, pressing it against the inside of the mirror, as if trying to push through. Mira's breath quickened. She wanted to run, but her feet were frozen in place. The room felt like it was closing in, the shadows growing darker, colder. The mirror began to vibrate slightly, the glass rippling as if it were water. The reflection's grin widened unnaturally, and Mira could hear a faint whispering, though no one was there. "Let me out," the reflection mouthed silently. With a burst of adrenaline, Mira turned and bolted for the door. She grabbed the handle, yanking it, but the door wouldn't budge. She could hear the sound of fingernails scraping against the glass behind her. Slowly, she turned her head, and her blood ran cold. The reflection was gone from the mirror. But something else was in its place. A dark, shadowy figure, faceless and featureless, pressed against the other side of the glass, its shape shifting and twisting. It began to claw at the surface, as if trying to break free. The whispering grew louder, surrounding her, filling her ears with a language she couldn't understand. Panicking, Mira slammed her fists against the door, screaming for help. Suddenly, the lights flickered once more, and the door flew open. She stumbled out into the hallway, breathless, her heart racing. She turned back to the art room. The mirror was still. The reflection was normal again, her own terrified face staring back at her. Shaking, she quickly left the school, vowing never to return after hours. The next day, when she told her friends what had happened, they laughed, thinking she was just playing into the old rumors. But Mira knew what she had seen. Something was trapped in that mirror, something that had been watching her, and it wanted out. For weeks after, Mira avoided the art room. But every time she walked past it, she could feel the pull of the mirror, like eyes were following her, waiting for her to come closer again. And sometimes, late at night, when she closed her eyes, she could still hear the whispers.